What's good, guys? We're back at it again with another video. As you see from the title, today we have a Bronny James game breakdown. I was thinking about coming with Amari today, and then I actually was going to combine both him and Bronny's games together into one breakdown, like I did with Imani and Jalen Duren, Marjon Beauchamp, and Jaden Hardy. I was going to do something like that, but then I'm looking at the clips, and I'm like, okay, with both of them, because they've both been hooping, Amari just coming back from injury, and there would be like 20 to 25 clips. And you guys know I like to talk, so I'd have to talk about both players. So it'd probably end up being like a 20, 30-minute video. So I'm like, okay, I'll probably just split it up. You know, obviously I have been waiting on some Amari film because after the 2022 rankings, you know, when I came out with that, he's the only player that was in that ESPN top 5 that I didn't feel comfortable enough ranking above or below someone simply because I didn't have enough film on him. Obviously, he started to play now, so his breakdown is either going to be coming within these next 2 days or it might be dropping on Monday. We're going to see because I am going out of town, but that's coming soon. But with Bronny, if you guys don't know who that is, I don't know how you wouldn't, but this is the son of the greatest basketball player of all time, LeBron James. But that's probably the only time I'm going to really mention Bron in this video other than jeans and things like that, because how Bronny's developing, you know, at some point, hopefully at some point in the future, you know, LeBron will be addressed as Bronny's dad, not Bronny being LeBron's son. So let's talk about it a little bit, right? So I did Bronny's breakdown maybe 4 to 5 months ago. And in that breakdown, I said, you know, Gilbert Arenas said in the podcast, you know, that by his senior year, Bronny's going to be 6'8", and he's going to be able to do a whole lot of different things on the court. He's going to be contending for the #1 player in the class, right? You know, at that time, I'd seen Bronny play in AAU in high school, and I see everybody was saying he's trash, this, and that. So I'm co-signing what Gilbert Arenas was saying. I'm like, yeah, I see the potential. Like at some point, he's going to start to pick it up, because at the time, I think he was averaging like 9 or 8 points with Sierra Canyon, but this is when they had BJ Boston and all of them. BJ just had 46 in the G League, 46, and I think he only missed maybe 3 or 4 shots. So just to put that in perspective, you know, who he was playing with, which is why his numbers were down. But this man now, as you can see, as you're gonna see in this breakdown, like it's starting what Gilbert Arenas was saying, what I was saying is starting to come to fruition. Now, he might not hit 6'8". I think now he's probably about 6'3", 6'4". On a good day, he might look 6'5" on video. You know, I haven't seen him in person, but the genes have started to kick in. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, just look right here. If that doesn't convince you, just look right here. You know, and for some reason, if that doesn't convince you, just look right here again for another one. This dude is turning into an actual freak. And, you know, the potential that I was talking about, that Gilbert Arenas was talking about, is starting to come. Bronny's starting to get pretty good. He's ranked number 38 on 24/7 on ESPN. He's currently ranked number 49 out of 60. Obviously, I haven't gotten too deep into 2023. We're going to be coming with that soon, so I need to see, are there actually that many players better than him? But I'm not going to hold you guys up any longer. Let's go. If you guys haven't noticed by now, Bronny has started to develop into a knockdown shooter, and if your hands aren't up on the closeout like they aren't here, bucket. He's also developed into a pretty good shooter off the bounce, and if you go under on his ball screens, it's knockdown. Off the catch, off the dribble, it doesn't matter at this point. If you give Bronny an open look, count it. Bronny does a great job controlling the pace and transition, and once he elevates in the air, if he can't dunk, he does a great job finishing with either hand around the rim. Here he is again, getting it off the glass and pushing in transition, doing a great job even with defensive pressure, even though he does end up losing the ball in this possession. This is a great job, him staying in the play, throwing a pinpoint behind the back pass to Amari, who throws a great no-look to his teammate for the dunk. As you guys saw in the intro, the genes have started to kick in, and if he gets open runway, you know what time it is. It's not only his athleticism that started to develop, but his vision as well. Here he is throwing a nasty no-look to his open teammate for 3. As I said earlier, if you don't close out on him with high hands, he's going to shoot it, and more times than not, it's going to go in, especially if the pass is coming from Amari, because they seem to have this special connection. He always finds him open. Bucket. Good job here on the defensive end, being active in passing lanes, and you guys already know it's showtime. Extremely tough pass off the bounce through the defense. Okay, so Bronny, like I said in the beginning, when there was a point in time when he's averaging 8 points, 9 points a game on a Sierra Canyon team that is stacked, that they legitimately made whole documentaries on that team and how stacked they are and how much media attention they had. When I see everyone trashing Bronny, calling him trash, calling him this, and that, but I'd seen him play AAU. I'd seen him play, you know, in spurts in high school. I'd seen, you know, different flashes of different things that he would be able to do in the future. Of course, I understood, okay, no, this kid at some point he's gonna start to pick it up, and he's gonna start to develop into his own body. His genes are gonna start to kick in, and all of a sudden you're gonna have a monster. And as you all saw, this is starting to come true. Exactly like I was saying it was. But let's just jump right into his game. First and foremost, we're gonna start off with defense, because just keep it a buck. We've talked about it on the channel before. A lot of top-ranked players, a lot of players that are, heavily covered, they're not really focused on defense. There've only been probably a handful of players on this channel that I can remember off the top of my head that were actually locked in on defense consistently. One of those is Jay Gord. I specifically remember that. I remember talking about that all the time. Like, he defensively set the tone, in every single game. Bronny's like that. Granted, in these games, there weren't many clips, of his defensive, plays, things like that, because this was like highlights. I got it from, shout out to Ball Is Life, shout out to Slam. That's where I got the film from, but I can't really find, for some reason, I don't know if they're hiding the film, full Sierra Canyon games. But once I really get my hand on a full game, we're actually going to go, really do a deep dive into what everyone's actually doing on the court. But defensively, what I've seen from Bronny and AAU and before, this dude switches everything. He's always locked in. He's always making plays, as you saw in the breakdown. He's always getting in passing lanes, getting steals, things like that. Like, this dude just takes defense seriously. Like I say all the time on this channel, even if your shots aren't falling, if you're playing defense, you can affect the game. Like I've said before, I'm like the perfect example. Out of multiple games, 2 points, 3 points. But if I'm getting 6, 7 blocks and rebounding the ball, all of a sudden I'm getting offers off things like that. That you guys have to realize. But offensively for Bronny, we'll start off with his passing, because that's also one of the things that you would assume, just has been passed down, because you started to see it now. His vision is starting to develop. And not even just his vision, because you can have vision, but if you can't actually pass the ball, be able to, pass it off the dribble either hand, that doesn't mean anything. Bronny not only has the vision now, because as you saw, he's making no looks all over the floor. He's fitting passes into really tight spaces. He throws he throws the right-hand pass off the bounce, which is harder than most people realize, throwing passes off the bounce with defense in front of you. He throws it literally through the defense, perfectly into his big's hands for the finish. Not a lot of people can do that. Or when he loses the ball in transition on the baseline, he's literally getting doubled and throws it behind the back perfect to Amari. Like, that's really not regular. Like, you don't see a lot of high school basketball players, juniors in high school, making plays like that. There aren't many that can do that. Or you saw he pat, no look, right to the corner, 3. Like, and he does that consistently in every single game. His vision is only gonna start to become bigger and bigger when he starts playing with better and better players, because then all of a sudden, some of these passes, he can start getting a little flashy with it. He can throw some oops, he can do this and that. I'm not saying that his teammates aren't great right now, aren't really good, but obviously where he's trying to go is kind of like with LaMelo, Trae Young. Now those passes that they were probably making in college and high school that people were just kind of now when you're on that, that big time level, when the dudes are starting to dunk those and catch it crazy and start to reverse them, all of a sudden people, he could pass this whole time. Yeah, this is what Bronny's going to be like in the future. Now, in terms of him scoring the ball, in transition, like I said in the video, he does a great job controlling the pace. Great job. And once he gets that, once he gets that runway, he takes off. He's either trying to dunk on you, or he can finish with either hand. I've seen multiple different finishes, as you saw in the breakdown. He finishes with the right hand, left hand. I've seen it, I think maybe in their first or second game of the season. We didn't do a breakdown on those, but he's finishing, up and unders, all different things. So he is a creative finisher around the rim. But right now, what it's looking like, he is a shooter. Like shooter. Like, as we saw in I think it was my first breakdown a couple months ago, he hit like 6 or 7 threes in the EYBL game. And for those of you who don't know EYBL, that's not easy at all. He hit 6 or 7 threes in the EYBL game. And now you're seeing if you see him, if he's open, if Bronny James is open from 3, more times than not is going in. And you see his form, you see how it's coming off, you see his release. It looks extremely simple now. He's not even trying, and he's starting to, talk a little bit. He's hitting threes, looking back at the bench, hitting one, staring the bench down the entire way he goes down the court, just because it's that easy to him now. He can also shoot it off the dribble. You go under his ball screen at all, guess what? Taking one dribble, gone. Like, you have to be there with him now, or it's a bucket, which is why I'm saying his game is starting to develop. Literally, he shows he can guard. He can knock down open threes off the bounce, off the catch. He can pass the ball. He can finish. Now, the finishing, that's probably something that you'd like to see a little bit more in transition. Obviously, he started to turn into a freak. So in transition, if he's open, he's punching that. It's easy, it's light. But in terms of just half-court finishing, being able to, carve through the defense and create open looks for himself around the rim, that's something I haven't really seen. But when you're a shooter like that, and once he keeps developing his shot, it's going to be easy. Because guess what? All he has to do is pump fake. He's going by everybody. And once he gets around that rim, you saw what's coming. He about to start punching crazy, which is why I'm saying I don't know if he's number 49 right now. What is he on 24/7 again? He's number 38 on 24/7 on the composite, just on 24/7. He's number 52. So I'm excited to get my 2023 rankings out and really deep dive into the class and see who they have, what type of talents they have in the class. But all in all, Bronny's coming for people. A lot of people have been sleeping on him. You've been saying this, and that, because, a lot of NBA players' sons don't usually, they don't turn out to be the best basketball players. But with him, as you've seen, you got Kenyon Martin Jr., players like that. Bronny's coming. Bronny's coming. And just because you might think he might not have the chip on his shoulder, this and that, this dude is getting better, and he's getting better quickly. So I'm just saying, keep your eyes open for what's about to come next. But like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Appreciate you guys watching. You want a subscriber breakdown, one-on-one instruction, how to improve your game. Hit my website. Like I said, appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you next time with the next video.